being a Christian equals to being foolish. And that was when God said to me that you can only go as far as I allow you to. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Queen, and this is a safe space for faith based living, self development, and intentional living. And yeah, in today's video, I want to share some few things I've learned in my 28 years to almost 29 years of living. So I'm turning 29 in a couple of months, and I want to share some few things I have learned. Five things. One thing my late 20s has taught me is that strangers will support you more than the people you grow up with. And this because they can't really see you beyond the person they've known you as. They can't see your potentials. And the reason for that is proximity breeds familiarity. You know, when you are close to something, when you are used to seeing that thing, you've seen all shades and form of that thing. Sometimes, right, it tends to make you not to quote unquote respect it the way you need to respect it. It causes you to undermine the value of that thing, right? So I believe people we grew up with can't see our potentials because they are so used to us. They are so used to who we are today that they can't see past that, right? They can't see past what we can be. So I also feel like it's not a you issue, but rather a them issue, right? Most people cannot even see themselves beyond what they are. So how do you expect them to see you beyond who you are? I don't know if I'm making sense. And the reason why strangers will support you more than the people you grew up with is that they look at you and they imagine different versions of you. They admire who you are, right? Because they've not seen every shade of you, right? And they tend to like imagine what you could possibly be. And that's why you find out that your community is usually strangers more than the people in your circle. We live in a generation where we expect our people, people we grow up with, people that we have connections with to support us, right? I mean, some people are kind of entitled, have a little bit of an entitlement issue, but then a few of us just want to be supported, right? Who doesn't want to be supported by their friends? So yeah, especially people you've given that same kind of support to, and then you kind of think they will also support you same way, but then when you are in the front line, they pretend not to see you, right? They act as though you are invisible. I've learned not to take that personal, and I've learned to embrace outsiders supporting me more than the people in my circle. I'm not entitled to your support, neither are you entitled to my support, because I believe and go and come. So if you are to meet me halfway, I'm certainly meeting you halfway. And if you come with full force, I am equally doing same. And yeah, this is one thing my late 20s has taught me, and it's unveiling different layers of what that could also translate to, right? Because I believe it's nice to support your friend, it's nice to support people. And if you as my friend, or you as someone that I've known for, let's say, a lifetime, don't give me the kind of support I need, I believe there sometimes there is an underlying issue. There is something deeper than I can see. People want you to do good, but never better than them, right? They want to see you go to a certain level, but never higher than them. So yeah, I'm learning to embrace this fact that My support or my circle will not be the people I know, rather the people I don't know. Another thing I'm learning is that having boundaries is a must. I've recently been hit with the reality that a life without boundaries is a life that can easily breed disrespect. I opened myself up to something, to someone, and I have poured my all in them. I have done my best as a friend. I have opened up my heart to them, and then I watched them, step on me because of the kind of access I gave to them. I gave them too much access that they felt like, you know what, I can come and go as I want. I can do as I want in your life. I can call when I need something, and then when you try to reach me or when you try to, have some shared moments with you, I can shut you down. I'll only come close to you when I need you, right? And that in a way has opened my eyes to know that having boundaries is a must. It saves you a lot of disrespect. It saves you a lot of shame or lots of embarrassment. I realized that before opening myself up to such people, the respect was there. I've learned through that experience that people can't undervalue what they don't have access to. If they are looking at you, from a far perspective, they respect you because they don't have access to what you carry. And you don't have to give them access to what you carry. It's okay to love people from afar. Without really letting yourself be disrespected. I'm learning to embrace boundaries. I mean, I love boundaries and I have a lot of them. I feel like I've softened a bit. So this is something I'm trying to bring back. Create a lot of boundaries for myself and determine the people who have access to me. I'm learning to differentiate between classmates, schoolmates, colleagues, acquaintances. I'm learning to build structure around my life that causes my value to stay intact, right? That allows me to have control and have dominion over how people perceive me or how people see me. I want to enter into my late 20s fully aware of my value and fully aware of how much I am willing to accept to give myself out to anybody, right? I don't want to open myself up to just anyone. I don't want to call everyone, quote unquote, my friend, because that will cause you more pain than you can ever imagine. So I'm learning to separate those things. And I believe it's something we should all learn. Build boundaries around our life, not just with friendship, not just with relationship, just overall boundaries, great boundaries around our life. And as Christians, we need it more. We need such boundaries. I had a little bit of an issue with someone. And then the next thing they said was, I thought you were a Christian. I thought you were born again. And that made me realize how much people tend to use what you are as a Christian to fight against you. Okay, so because I am a Christian, I should allow disrespect. Because I am a Christian, I should allow you step over me. Because I am a Christian, I should allow you disrespect me in any form or shape. Because I am a Christian, I am allowed to be pushed to the ground countless times. That period made me realize, okay, so this is how people think that Christianity, being a Christian, equals to being foolish. Jesus had boundaries, right? And I believe we as Christians should create boundaries too. We learn how to who to give access to and who not to give access. Who should strive to get access to us. You don't undervalue things you struggle to get, right? You don't undervalue things that you worked hard to get. You sweat. If sweat and blood was involved, you cherish that thing, right? But If this is a case where they just one push and they are just in, it's easy for them to throw you to the ground. Another thing I'm learning in this season or this last year in my 20s is being my own person. And if I'm being honest, this is not something new to me. I feel like I have been my own person since I came onto this earth. I've always been my person, but I am learning to be my person even more because I realize that no one can do the things that you can do for yourself for you. People can promise you heaven and earth and still fail. People can swear that they will be there for you, they will do this for you, they will do that for you, and still not do it, not show up as how they want to show out. So you have to make it a point to prioritize yourself, make it a point to be your own person, be your own ride or die before you look for that in other people. And one thing I have also learned is that you can't give what you don't have. You have to be what you need before you can give it out. Isn't it amazing that the greatest commandment in the Bible is to love your neighbor as yourself? Love is the greatest commandment in the Bible. But in order to give love, you have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself enough, you cannot give that same love to others. You can't pour yourself out if you yourself you are not full. So I'm learning this season to pour into me so that I can pour into my children, my husband, my family, my in-laws, my siblings, the people that God has designed for my future. I'm learning to pour into myself now, love myself in any way I can so that I give that same love to people. You can only give the version of yourself you've built to others. If you've not learned to build a strong version of yourself, you end up giving the version you've built to other people, be it toxic, be it healthy. That's the version you give out. I'm embracing, being my person, being my person so that I can be another person's person. We can only reflect the love that we have. If you don't have love within you, it's hard for you to give that same love to others. It's if you don't love yourself, it's hard to recognize love when it's being given to you, when you don't understand the basis of love. You don't know what love looks like. That's why it's so important for us to be our person, love ourselves, and build ourselves in ways that we can also be able to love others. I'm also learning not to be afraid to say no. Yes, this is something I have battled with for some time now. I find it hard to say no. I find it uncomfortable to say no to people. But I believe this season God has led me to a season where I'm experiencing a lot of no from him first and foremost, and also learn to also say no to certain things. No to anything that needs no, right? Without giving an explanation. Because I noticed that I overly explain myself, which I don't want to do again because I feel like me over explaining myself is as a result of being constantly misunderstood by people. In the past, I've experienced such and such where people misunderstand me for no reason. No matter what I do, I can be saying things in their own best interest and they will find ways to misunderstand me. So I'm learning this season to, call a spade. If it's no, it's no. If it's a yes, it's a yes. Without feeling sorry, without feeling any remorse, right? Because people will do to you what they want to do to you without feeling anything. Why then should you do otherwise? Currently in some kind of a situation where I've realized that people just want to use me for what I carry, not per se, not necessarily because they love me and they want me around them. Whereas I, on the other hand, I love them, I adore them, I care for them, but they only want to get access to what I carry and not with me at their own convenience too. God is teaching me with that experience that, you know what, I need to guard my heart because out of it comes the issues of life. I should learn to say no to the things that come into my heart. I should learn to say no to the people that, walk into my heart without feeling shame, without feeling any remorse, without feeling like feeling uncomfortable, because I find it so uncomfortable to do certain things that people will do it easily. I find it uncomfortable. An example of that is I can be talking to you on the phone and maybe someone is calling me while we are on the phone. I find it hard to say to the person I'm on call with, oh, someone is calling me. Let me pick up and call you back later. Right. But then I've noticed that these people will do that easily to me. We can be talking and they will say, oh, someone is calling me. They will hang up on me, talk to the person. And sometimes they will not even call back. They will not call back. And I'm realizing, wow, 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 wow. I really need to guard my heart. I need to protect my heart. I need to protect my sanity. I need to be okay with saying no. So I'm learning this season to decline people's access to me. One way I feel I can do that is by saying no. A few no's will let them know, this person is not cut out for whatever I want to do. Last but not the least, and also the most important amongst them all, is that I have learned in my late 20s that it is so important that I find God early. In my case, I found God, or God, rather, God found me when I was around 23 years. I was 23. I found God around that age. And if I'm being honest, I cherish the fact that God found me around that time. Though I'd wish that maybe as a baby, God would have found me when I was like a baby. I would have wished that I knew God at a very early age, at a tender age, because that could have stopped a lot of, not quote unquote, nonsense I had to deal with, a lot of bad relationship I had to enter, a lot of friendship that I made because I didn't know my worth, because I didn't know who I was. And that could have stopped a lot of, business decisions I made. Right. If I knew God early and then God was the one ordering my steps, it would have been so easy to be in alignment with God, and also walk the path that He has designed for me. I look back at my life, can't help but wonder if the reason why it feels like everything is slow for me is because I didn't start early, because I made so many mistakes. I sometimes ask myself, would it have been easy if I started right on spot with God? Would things be easy for me? Because now I'm looking at my life, looking at the things I have, I've engaged in, I've done, relationship I entered without God's permission and all that, and I'm asking myself, what if I use that period, right, to follow God? Maybe I would have gotten to my destination early. Maybe things would happen for me easy. And this not to say that God is punishing me for the past mistake I made. When He died on the cross for my sins, He said it was finished. He said it is finished. That means everything I did or everything I will ever do in the future has already been forgiven and forgotten. So I don't think God is punishing me for anything. But then I feel like it would have been easier if I worked with God on a clean slate instead of having to deal with things, soul ties, all sorts of, nonsense before finding God, and then Him like redeeming me and all that. In my next life, I'm open. I'm believing that whatever I've experienced now, or whatever I've learned now, will stick in my heart, so much so that in my next life, I remember the shege that I saw. Basically, the shege that I saw walking in the world So when God saved me and brought me into his kingdom, I remember that it will be my main focus that all my life I will live to love God, revere him, respect him in any way, shape, and form possible, walk in purity, just live for God, basically. So if you are watching this and you are younger than I am right now and you don't know Jesus, I entreat you to find him. Look for him. He said, when you call, I will answer. Call on me and I will show you things which you know not. Once you call on him, you open the door for him to enter. I entreat you to find him early. It will save you a lot of stress. It will save you a lot of heartbreak. It will save you a lot of things. Find him early and walk with him. Let him order your steps. Don't make plans without God. Always go back to him and then ask him, is this your will for me? If, for instance, you have this idea of starting a business, this idea just pops into your head and you are like, this can possibly bring me some money, right? Some money. Take it back to God. Ask God, God, is this your will for me? Is this your plans for me? Because I can use myself as an example. When years back, let's say maybe 10 years back, when I graduated from secondary school, I ventured into a large number of businesses, only for me to find out when I got born again that that was not God's plan for me. Venturing into business was not his plan for me at all. So I wasted years going from one business to there because obviously for me like that, God did not permit me to even go far in my business. So I will start the business might look promising, then boom, it will scatter. I'll start, it will look like it's promising, then it goes under the bridge. And it continued that way for as long as I can remember. So I got saved and I then asked God, God, why do things don't work for me? And that was when God said to me, you can only go as far as I allow you to. You can only go far in life if you collaborate with me. I was living my life assuming, thinking that, oh, everything is fine, everything is rosy, everything is beautiful, only for God to tell me, yeah, you can only make it in my boat. You can only survive under my care. You are not allowed to do things on your own. And yeah, it's been 5 years since I got saved. I celebrated my 5th year just last week with God on 4th of April 2025. I celebrated my 5th year of 2026, sorry. I celebrated my 5th year working with God, and I must say I can boldly agree with the statement. I said the Lord builds a house, the builders build in vain. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully God will allow me share the testimony I'm experiencing this year, whatever I'm experiencing this year soon. But this year has been crazy. And prior to this year, I remember last year ending December, I was praying that God, this year should be the year. This is how I want this year to go. Like God, let's do it this way, let's do it that way. Only for me to enter this year, and the first month of this year, there was drought, there was complete dryness in my life. We experienced some sort of a water issue. Our water went off from I think 23rd December and only came back on 23rd of January or 24th of January. And in that period, I was so uncomfortable in that season because water is life. So imagine not having water at your beck and call. You were literally bathing with sachet water and stuff. That was how bad it was, right? But then, in the midst of all that craziness, I remember feeling something in me, like maybe God is using this period, this drought season, this water issue to show me what is happening. I just felt it strongly in my heart that no, even though this is a physical issue, this is water issue, it feels like it's deeper than what I can see. Maybe God is telling me, you know what? This is just preparation for what is ahead. This dry season you are experiencing this month. That's something I'm using to prepare you, because in that period I was so uncomfortable. I won't lie. I was so uncomfortable to the extent that I'll pray to God. God, let the water company fix this thing. I will pray countless time and nothing will happen. In fact, there was a period I prayed and God was like, to the water will come. But guess what? At the time he said it would come, it did. The water didn't come. On 24th of January, when we least expected the water to flow, that was when the water started flowing. And up to now, the water is still flowing. I have enough water to do what I like. I have enough water to wash my dishes, wash my bowls, wash my clothes, wash my child's clothes and all that. I have enough water to use. After that period, and I started experiencing that drought in my own life, that was when I was like, yeah, the spirit testifies to us. Made me realize, like, okay, the water issue was not even about the water. It was about what was coming. Like, I was entering into my Job era, where things are going to be stripped off, where things are going to be, destroyed. It will look like my world is crumbling. But you know what? They say weeping endures for a night, joy comes in the morning. It's important to know God. It's important to experience God. It's important to have God. It saves you a lot. It saves you. It prepares you for life. God prepares you for life, both the seen and unseen. God prepares you for life. So I entreat everyone, but whether young, old, listen, we all need Jesus. We all need Jesus. We all need Jesus. And there is so much of a great joy in having him. All too soon, we've come to the end of this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like, share, and also subscribe. Join this community, be my friend, so that I'll be your friend. Let's be friends. Also turn on your notification bell so you get notified each time I post a new video. And I'll catch you in the next series if God permits. See you again. Bye bye.